Now. It's 7 a.m. It's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck.
So what happened over the weekend? Anything? Oh, really? Friday night, you say? What's up, March? How'd that go down? Wow, Friday evening. They say it's not a news dump, and I believe them. Everything, that's when it happened. But some of you got your wish. Some of you are probably, I don't know, disappointed. Maybe disappointed. I don't know that anybody should be surprised. Maybe a little surprised by the timing. But Paul Weir and the University of New Mexico announced that they came to a mutual agreement that they would make a change at the top of the basketball department and basketball program. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. And how did it go down, what happened, what's next, what should be next, all of those things. What's up, man? How was the weekend?
The weekend was good. It was a very busy weekend indeed across the board. How about this? Athletics in the state of New Mexico as well. What a interesting weekend it was. A lot to get into. And your point on the situation, so what happens in college athletics? You don't have a coach go into the final year or two of a deal without making a decision, yes or no, because of the recruiting game and all that you see that go into it. And this is when the decision was made. I know, to your point, a lot of people wondering about the timing. However, it's what Eddie does. And they did the same thing with Bob Davie when they came to their decision on that. They announced it even before the season was over. So I think it's just a situation of, instead of just letting things hang out there, answering the questions, going back and forth, if the parties agree, make the announcement.
Yeah, and I asked him on the timing and the semantics, really. I mean, it is mutual decision. Was it? And I'm not sure he did or will, which is fine. You know, kind of get into the specifics of the conversation between the coach and the athletic director, and that's between them, and probably it should be. And I think Paul made it clear that he wanted to stay. When he was asked, over the last few weeks, and said it's not my decision. Well, if then this is where we ended up, then it wasn't his decision. Then that makes it pretty clear where it went down to, and that's fine. I think that's the way it probably needed to go down if it was going to go down that way. The timing before the end of the regular season, I kind of thought, JJ, that it would happen after the regular season's finale. I don't think that it matters that now Paul and Eddie made this point. Paul now knows he can coach his team for the last 2 or 3 or however many games there are in regards to how far they go in the tournament. And he can start his search. You all can start your name throwing and who you want and who you don't and the whole thing. Or as somebody said to me this morning, let the games begin. And we'll go. When you heard it, surprise, relieved, like for you, because for me, there was the only surprise was the timing on it. I was surprised it came down Friday night.
I think a little bit just in regards to, you said late on a Friday night. I think it was around like 8 o'clock. The press release came out, and so you started dissecting the news in the situation in that regards. But overall, I think when we've discussed the Paul Weir era, that's the situation. It's not necessarily just what happened this year. It's Paul, Eddie, etc. They've acknowledged the changes, but this is also a overall look at the program. And as you pointed out so many times, Jeff, if you had the payoff, if there was something there you saw, knowing, all right, this coach, this staff, there is a path to winning the Mountain West. There is a path to competing at the top of this conference, then you judge this season differently. But I think when you just look at the overall picture, where the program is going, and the certain things that Eddie has talked about, it's unfortunate that they had to deal with this season, but in the totality of even a 4-year run, I think you saw that it was time to make a change for Lubbock basketball.
Yeah, I think so. And that's where we're going to go today is, how do you feel about it? I know some of you were thrilled. Some of you might be on the fence. Some of you want to see what's next. And I'm sure there's some of you that wanted to stay the course and see what Paul can do and felt that you were on the right path. And then certainly going to listen to all of that. 505-246-0610 That's how to get to us today. The Quan's Auto Care Hotline, 505-246-0610. Your emails will come to us. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. On the Twitter, you can find JJ, it's _ JJ Buck. And on the Facebook, you can watch the show, The OD in the AM. Your guest list today, 8 o'clock, we're going to talk football because spring practice starts tomorrow. Danny Gonzalez is going to be with us, a Lobo football coach. We'll talk to him coming up at 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock, NBA champion, former Lobo great Michael Cooper is going to be with us. The only man, as far as I know, still the only person still who has won a championship at the NBA level, the D-League level, and at the WNBA level. And certainly one of the names that is out there, and I know you've heard it, in regards to replace Paul Weir as the Lobo men's basketball coach. So Michael Cooper is going to be with us coming up at 9 o'clock. Before we dive into what's next and all of that, and I know we're gonna spend the next however many weeks until it's done, and maybe it's days, whatever it is, going and tossing names, and there's countless of them. Right move, JJ, by Eddie, because from where I am, I think this is my, and I like Paul, I do. I think this is a move that's probably the right move. I think just for the program, for the regeneration. I mean, I know we were here 4 years ago. I know we were in the same spot, and I like Craig, and I know that wasn't necessarily a popular opinion. You get to know these guys personally a little bit, and a little bit, and I never like seeing a guy lose his job. I'm so rarely the guy, you got to fire him and he's got to be fired. But if I'm sitting in Eddie's chair, I understand what he's looking at. And, over the last couple of years, when you talk about what's the direction of the program, and certainly Eddie is more versed than you or I or anybody else after having these conversations, but just where's the program going? What I asked you the other day, what makes you feel confident that next year you're pointed in the direction where this program needs to be, and I'm thinking that's kind of where this decision came.
I think that was definitely high on the list, just when you look at overall player development, recruiting, what type of player are you bringing in here. And this is a place that you don't want to be hiring or firing coaches every 4 years. That means your program's not in a good spot. So this is a huge hire for Eddie Nunez, and now he's going to have a head football coach and a head basketball coach. Part of his decisions running his athletic department, and two of the biggest things you can have at a university, and especially at the University of New Mexico. I think with Paul Weir, it'll be interesting, to listen to people that have been through more of the coaches in the history of the University of New Mexico. So I don't think Paul is going to go down as the worst coach this program has ever had. I think it's just one that you just felt like it wasn't going to work to the level needed to compete atop the Mountain West Conference. Yeah, I don't even know how you judge, how you're going to rank hierarchies, and that's... Well, I think it's in terms of off-court issues, last year was rough. What happened with multiple players on this roster. But when you look overall, Paul Weir, his attitude, the community, for the most part, how he acted with his teams, because I think, as you hit on it and we talk so much, it's kind of the dreaded place to be when you're a head coach. Everyone's like, I like you, but... And that's what you get with Paul Weir. It's like, he seems like he's such a nice guy, great interactions, but not the greatest coach. Yeah. I think when it comes down to it, it was, where's the direction of the program? I just... When I asked you the other day, what makes you think, or do you think, and this was not you necessarily, it was when I put it out there, what's out there that makes you feel the program is next year is going to be where you want it to be? It's going to be better? Do you see the players? Do you see the leadership? Do you see the direction? Do you see the development? And you're coming off of last year where we've gone over that a zillion times, where you had the issues as far as the discipline, the player issues, and then this year, and I get it, man. This year was almost a no-win. I mean, I look down at what's happened at New Mexico State, and seeing them split with Tarleton over the weekend, and
like, even New Mexico State, and I think most people really believe Chris Jans is a really good coach, right? And what he's done down there the 4 years that he's been there. But there's a drop off there. So I think that almost about. But then you look at the women's team, and they're 11-3, 8-3 in league. Different set of circumstances, but certainly similar, right? So this year, I think Eddie wasn't telling you a line when he said it's not just going to be about wins and losses this year, that it's going to be about a lot more. Now, I know a lot of people feel, well, see, he fired him because they're 2-13 or whatever the number is. Well, that's part of the equation. It is. And wins and losses. And how many times do you hear coaches say, we're in a performance business, right? If you don't perform, you're going to have problems. I'm curious. This is where I want to go. I know it's going to be natural. I've already gotten three suggestions on the email this morning on who the next coach should or should not be. So as we go through the morning, I'm going to ask you, of course, where do you want to go? But how do you feel about this? Was this the right decision? Was it the wrong decision? Was it the right time? Just your thoughts on Lobo basketball as we move forward. All right. We'll get into the Lady Lobos with their big one. How about that? You got another one today, don't you?
Yep. Run it back this afternoon. 2 o'clock tip-off.
2 o'clock tip-off today.
1:30 pregame.
All right, so Lobo women rolled Utah State yesterday, 93-55. They were up 34 points at halftime. We get into Lobo baseball, sweep over Air Force. The Aggies split with Tarleton over the weekend. The golf, the spring training, the NBA stuff, all the college stuff, the list that you guys all have sitting in front of you as far as who should be the head coach. We've got a ton to do. Danny Gonzalez will be with us at 8 o'clock this morning. Michael Cooper will be with us at 9 o'clock this morning, and you can hear it all on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You've heard. As Hobby's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wild catch. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Webskowski on the sideline. Asta Manana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24 Rancho. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone.
Their emails are starting to come in. You can light up the phones at 505-246-0610. A little bit basketball. They'll play on Wednesday, Colorado State, and then go to the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Paul Weir will be the coach of those two teams, or in those two games. And then the search is underway, or as I'm told, let the games begin. And I'll read some of these as they come in. I'll try to get as many of them as I can because they're coming in pretty quick. This is from Dan. When I heard the Friday night news dump, JJ, I turned on 610, expected to hear a special OD. This is me breaking into regular programming with JJ and Micah. We have major breaking news, but yeah, that's not how that went. Remember when we didn't do that when Craig got let go either. In fact, I was in the DR when
We
Craig
did do
got
that
let
with
go.
Craig Neal.
Did you? Yeah, I didn't do that with Craig.
Well, it was a
Yeah.
little different than because it was a Saturday morning.
That's why
Even though
Alfred
the news came
was.
out like late on a Friday,
Yeah,
and then ran it back. But
that was
I
a
think it
Friday
was
night thing.
A little bit different given the fact that it was after the season, let go, and then in this situation, we still are dealing with, like you said, at least 2 games with Paul Weir coaching this basketball.
Well,
team.
that one, if you recall, in Vegas, the morning after they got knocked out, I remember talking about the press release that Paul Krebs had put out saying that they are not making a change in their men's basketball program. So it was kind of dealt with and put to bed. And then this was weeks later, and I was in the Dominican Republic, and I remember my phone just blowing up overnight, and saw it in the morning that and sorry to leave you alone on that one, but I was there. This one and the Alfred one was a Saturday, and what did we do? 4 hours just that Saturday afternoon. You and I just went from that press conference, and we sat in there in the phone, and people were losing their bleeping minds. Dan says, Jeffrey, Juan Jose, and Micah John, wouldn't it be ironic if Level Basketball and Weir gets hot, now goes on a wild run to win the Mountain West Conference Tournament, getting the auto bid in the NCAA? Yep, it would be wild. It would be, or ironic, is that the word you use? Sure. Yes, that'd be something. Be great. Don't you think? I mean, that'd be really, really fun. And then maybe Paul could parlay that into his next gig. Buyout terms was basically $490,000. So they owed him per contract. It was going to be $750,000, right, over the 2 years, and it ends up being $490, $245, and $245, plus the $100,000, $50 each the next 2 years to New Mexico State. So it's $590. Down from the was it 700, right, JJ? 700. So $590 down from the 700. So they shaved $110,000 off that. I know people are going to lose their minds, and they always do over the buyouts, and that's always a thing. And I understand where the university is, especially athletics, is in regards to finances. I just this is one, and I know I have a regular theme when it comes to this, and it's not even a theme. It's just my belief. This is just part of the business, and you buy someone out of their contract. You signed a contract. This was the deal, and the university's, in essence, terminating the contract, but the financial terms are there. This is part of this business. And when you say you're walking away with owing somebody, about $600,000, and then you look at some of these buyouts around the country, you're getting off cheap. I know nobody wants to hear that. I'm not telling you $600,000 isn't a lot of money. But have you seen some of these buyouts around the country?
Yeah, it's the business of college athletics. And if you want to be in the business of college athletics, it involves buyouts. I mean, that is something that agents have done a fantastic job of securing in these contracts. You sign a contract for 6 years, you're going to get paid for 6 years.
Yeah.
Unless you have an agreement to get a little bit less than what you're owed overall. But it's the business side of it. And if you want to compete, if you want to play at a high level, be part of this game, you're going to have to deal with buyouts if things don't go the way you want with the head coach.
And you're protected on the other end, too. Ask New Mexico State. They're still getting money from Paul Weir, who had to buy his way out of a contract that he broke at New Mexico State when he came to New Mexico to be the coach here. So usually, the team, the school to which you're going will buy out your deal. Paul Krebs wasn't in that game back then, and I feel bad for Paul in that respect, right? I mean, here he is. He took less money, and he still owes New Mexico State a lot of money. But that's the way that is. It is what it is. I'm going to get these all day. Rod says, I hope Nunez takes a look at this guy. He said he's from the Bobby Knight tree, current NBA analyst, former head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. He likes Quinn Buckner. Okay, older school guy, as is this one. Cooper for coach, Jeff. When Michael Cooper, is in little Johnny's living room, he might not remember Michael Cooper, but when he pulls that NBA championship belt out of his suitcase and says, "I got 5 of these," that's more than LeBron. It's going to get little Johnny's attention. And when little Johnny's parents ask for references, and he picks up the phone, Larry, can you talk to little Johnny's parents for me? We're sorry to bother you, Irvin, but can you tell Mom and Dad why Johnny should come play for us in New Mexico? It's going to resonate. That's from Lobo Hobo. You're going to hear a lot of that.
That is a great question, and one that I have written down.
What's that?
Is how do you get a 16-year-old to care about what you did in the 80s?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Michael's 64. Quinn Buckner's older. Some of these names you hear, Rick Pitino's older. Thad Matta's name, who I haven't heard a lot, is older. John Beeline. There's some really accomplished coaches. Now, Frank Martin's in his 50s. Do you have a favorite, by the way? And then we're going to go to the phones. Do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite yet. I'm right there with you. List. This is what I've been doing this weekend. I've been crowdsourcing names. I put it out there on Twitter. Got a bunch of responses. So things that we're going to be discussing all week long. A lot of interesting candidates too that I wasn't even thinking about, but the fans are throwing it out there. So we're building the fan Rolodex as part of this conversation. But the Michael Cooper thing is interesting because he absolutely is a legend to a lot of fans. And then there you have to be real, to the point of Lobo Hobo. All right, you can tell me about what you did, but we've also seen that in so many places. It's not like Patrick Ewing walked into Georgetown and just started signing everybody because he was a great NBA player.
Juwan Howard did at Michigan.
Because that is a legitimate coach.
Yeah,
like we're talking about a dude that is coached at a high level and it was recruiting to a place that was pretty good.
You could certainly argue that Coop's coached at high levels. He's coached at the Pac-12 in women's basketball. He won a championship as a D-League coach. He coached. He won 2 championships at the WNBA level. He's coached at, every level. He coached 14 games with the Nuggets. He was 4-10 as an interim coach, as an NBA coach. So, Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, Rudy.
Yeah, I can't even go to Taos to ski for the weekend.
Yeah, you can. You can go wherever you want. I know you did.
I actually heard about it on the ski slope.
It's amazing how fast it buzzes. It's just buzz, boom. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to read this. It says, "Hello, family and friends. I'm writing this to you for the last time as head coach here at New Mexico. Thank you all so much for your commitment to our basketball program. Many of these relationships bled well over into personal ones for me, my wife Alma, and our children. Your support was meaningful to our team, but it was the personal connections we will miss the most. I wish you all nothing but the best in your future endeavors. Feel free to stay in touch if you're so inclined. Go Lobos."
That's nice.
I didn't get a head fake from Alfred when he left. I didn't get a head fake from Craig Neal when he left, and I gave them the same level of support. And so it's a crying shame that it didn't work out for Coach Weir here.
I haven't heard anybody tell me Paul's not a good guy.
Shame for our fans.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say they don't like Paul or Paul's not a good guy. Now there's a few people out there. I haven't heard anybody say it publicly, but I think for the most part, people think Paul's a nice guy, good guy, means well, wanted well. It just obviously here we are 4 years later and it didn't work.
Yeah, did well. Took a ragtag team and was 3 minutes away from beating San Diego State his first year. I don't know what happened or where the disconnect formed in his ability to relate to players or to motivate players, but what happened this year was just the perfect storm, and I really feel bad for him.
Rudy, let me ask you this: hold on. You're an ardent supporter. Is this the right move? Is this the right move? Do you agree with the move?
I guess because of the brutal business side of college athletics, yes. Because coming out of the pandemic and going into next year with what happened this year, you can't afford, a tepid fan response. So you have to do something to capture the imagination of Lobo Nation. And, I got a name.
Okay.
And if Juwan Howard can do it at Michigan, hire Kenny Thomas here at New Mexico. Bring in Larry Brown to be your old head like Pete Martelli is at Michigan. Kenny and Larry Brown had a heck of a connection in Philly. And Kenny played 11 years in the NBA. He's coaching 5 AAU teams in Sacramento right now. Anybody who ever went to one of Kenny Thomas's basketball camps knows the man knows basketball and can teach it. Why not do it? Why not? I talked to Kenny. I think he's putting his name in.
Interesting. You said Larry Brown. Larry Brown's 80.
Yeah, and how old is Pete Martelli?
I don't know. I'll find it. You want me to find it for you? I mean, I can find it just as easy.
It doesn't matter how old you are. It matters how good you are, and it matters how much you can help, Kenny navigate the first couple of years.
Pete Martelli's
Martelli's
66.
there at Michigan.
Yeah, he's 66.
He's 66?
Yeah. He may look older, but he's 66. Pete Martelli.
Oh, he looks a lot older than that. I don't know. Find an old head, to be your assistant head coach. There's guys out there. Martelli was a fixture at St. Joe's. He looks a lot older than 66 to me, but maybe that's the basketball in him.
Where we are.
I don't know. There's the problem with Michael Cooper is very simple. He does not have his degree still, I don't believe.
I'm going to ask him that. We're going to put that to bed today.
That.
Yeah.
I would say, if Michael can meet the requirements of the job, why not? But I think tapping back into those type of people would be a substantial benefit to the University of New Mexico. And we got to see who Eddie knows.
Eddie knows a lot of people. Look, Eddie's got a lot of good connections, and I really trust Eddie's basketball sense on this. And
absolutely.
He's going to be thorough.
Thoughts, I'll tell you what, somebody did poke the bear. That was unbelievable performance by the women. I could not. I was watching the game, and I was just like, holy cow. They are just – and that was a pretty good Utah State team one year ago, right?
But not this year.
This COVID thing has affected so many teams so differently.
Yeah,
but Utah State looked just totally lost the first half, or New Mexico was just playing at such a high level. Let's see what happens at 2 o'clock today. UNM has to start winning 2 games in a row back-to-back if they're going to win the tournament. And my final thoughts about Michigan is who's going to beat them.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean,
they're really good.
They look so good. They really do.
Really good. They're really good. All right. Can I throw another name out since we're playing the NBA stuff? What about Mike Brown? Elijah's dad, former Laker coach. I know that he still has some connections to Albuquerque. That's one of those dark horse names that throw it out there. Mike Brown is, and it would still relate. Well, he coached LeBron. It would still relate. And I don't know how much you got to relate to these younger players if you got a coaching resume, right? I mean, half these names that maybe how many younger players know who any of these coaches are.
Anyway? Ultimately, it's about developing relationships, player development, and are you a program that wins basketball games? Yeah. Because it's you can't immediately say, oh, we're going to sell NBA dreams at the University of New Mexico, because that's not going to get you that far, because you're not playing that game. You're going to get beat by Kentucky. You're going to get beat by Duke. Right. You're going to get beat by Gonzaga, etc. So it's ultimately these are the things that I bring to the table, but overall, this is what you're getting with my program at the University of New Mexico.
All right. Winter weather and all this changing weather is not good to your vehicle. The cold air pulls the moisture out of your paint job, and it's still cold every night. The sand, the salt, all that stuff on the road can cause your paint to chip and to fade. That is a bad look, but it's cold outside. You don't want to go out and wash it, or you don't have the time. Neither do I, and here's the better option. On-the-spot automotive detailing. On-the-spot automotive detailing will get it clean, inside and outside, and not like that quick rinse you get at one of those drive-through places. They're going to spend an hour, maybe more, whatever it takes. When they're done, the smells, the stains, the spills, the pet hair, all gone, and it looks and smells and feels like the day you took it off a lot. Best of all, they come to you. Wherever and whenever it is that's convenient, that's where they will be. They come to you. I don't know where they are. It doesn't matter. They know where I am, and that's the beauty of on-the-spot automotive detailing. Give them a call, 505-859-2859. That's 505-859-2859, or go to otsdetailing.com.
West on I-40.
call it, as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house fly. Cardinal fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. All day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcats! Not a defender inside. A little bit. Kowski on the sideline! Hasta mañana! He's off to the races! Touchdown! Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24, Rancho. Late to third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards. He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is, a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
To shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's a long 3.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Fork driving kick. 3's in the air. It's good.
Pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. Here comes Mascuchas. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition. 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan. Ramos, rise and fire.
Wayne.
He's fouled.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, JJ. I have real mixed feelings about the loss of Weir. I understand why he had to go, and I'm glad that Eddie said that the outside money will cover his buyout. I'm going to go ahead and fire off my list of 5 people that I think are definitely worthy of consideration. It's a unique list, and I guess after I hang up or after we're done, you can go ahead and roast me and my ideas, but here's the list. I think that we should definitely look at William Benjamin from Las Cruces. I think we should look at Travis Julian from Las Lunas. I think we should look at Adrian Ortega from Atrisco and Jacob Heron from the Academy and perhaps Greg Brown from Volcano Vista, amongst a few others. And I do think that they should be considered and spoken to. I think that if they're offered salary, it should be have a base that's commensurate or in line with New Mexico salaries, perhaps under $200,000, with incentives and other things built into the contract. If they reach milestones and develop appropriately, they should be rewarded, according to what they achieve. So I know that there's not a single guy from the 8 in the paper the other day. I have to admit there's 1 or 2 from the paper that are not bad. There are perhaps 1 or 2 home runs in there, but I just don't want to settle if we're going to spend, $500,000, $700,000 on someone who we're all not excited about. So
right on.
I really want to have my funky list, and I'll leave it there. But I appreciate you giving me a voice to, really consider New Mexicans and what they're doing right now. With basketball, even though it's not at the Division I level.
Got it. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it. And all very accomplished coaches. All very accomplished coaches. I just don't think that that's where Eddie's going to go. And with all due respect to Wayne, I don't think that's where he should go. I think that to build a Division I program to the standards of which you expect, I believe that it's going to be a Division I coach, and all those guys are good. Now, if you want to, I'll give you the local name, and this was where I was going next. The Cody Toppert name interests me. He's on Memphis' staff currently. He's coached the D League the D League team for the Suns. He's been a player development, Ivy League guy. His parents, both of his parents played at UNM. His brother played at UNM. He went to Academy. Cerebral, well respected in the basketball world. Cody's an interesting name to me that didn't pop off, when I started thinking about this months ago. But that's, as far as someone who understands it and lives it and grew up in it, and is a fresh, young, bright-minded basketball. That's a name I listen to.
Yeah, Cody Toppert's definitely interesting. His experience coaching in D League, player development with the Phoenix Suns, and to mention now working with Penny Hardaway and that staff at Memphis. And when it comes to the high school coach, I think anyone, whether we're talking about a coach or someone else in a whatever work field you're in, if there's an opportunity to step up, you want that chance, you want to be looked at. All of us want our opportunity to be able to take that next step, but I just don't see a high school coach stepping in to the University of New Mexico job right now. If there's a way to get on a staff, of course, we've seen that with Danny Gonzalez and what happened, but the family connections there, of course, make that jump, but I just don't see, one of these guys going from high school basketball coach to head coach at the University of New Mexico.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of names. You're going to hear Mike Miller. Damon Stoudemire's name is we talked about this, I think, last week. Tim Miles is one of the hot names. And with all due respect, and he seems like a great guy. The few times I met him, I liked him. I know he and David Williams, the deputy athletic director at UNM, are tight. It's a Dakota thing, and they're tight. JJ, Tim Miles went to the NCAA once, right? So his league finishes at Colorado State. He finished 9th, 8th, 5th, 4th, and 4th. Is that correct? Went to the CBI once, the NIT once, and the NCAA once. Turned that NCAA run into, and he got paid. He went to Nebraska. I'm not going to hold not winning at Nebraska against him, because I'm not sure I got a coach that's won at Nebraska in basketball. That's a hard job. I just don't know what Tim Miles does, A, to excite your fan base, and B, to excite players. Like I get it. Nico Medved and Craig Smith are having nice success in the Mountain West, and they're coming off of his tree. They work for him. The Tim Miles thing doesn't I looked into it yesterday. I really kind of dug into it and say, all right, tell me what I'm missing that I'm not getting excited about Tim Miles, and I just didn't find it.
I agree with you. It's when you look at his overall resume, the work he did at North Dakota State for 6 years. His last season there, he goes 20-8. Then he gets a Colorado State job. It's a coach that's put in a lot of work. I think definitely know, all right, he's going to grind. You saw Colorado State get better, but that's low on the list of, kind of to Wayne's point, something that's going to wow everyone. Like, everyone knows about Tim Miles, but is that the guy that's at the top of your list?
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice coach. So many of these names that I've heard. I mean, I'm going to honestly, Cody Toppert and Michael Cooper, I like just initially, and I'm not doing the interviews, more than Tim Miles. I love the Frank Martin piece. I really like Thad Matta. And then you start looking at, the coach at Drake, who's having incredible success, and he may, get a bigger job than this. Guy down at Abilene Christian, there's the coach at Montana. These are some of the young coaches that are coming up that are winning at programs that would historically tell you this would be the next kind of a step. So there's a lot of names. 505-246-0610. It looks like Josh and an arm and J-Pole over on the ProView side. I see the cup, the Broncos cup, so I should have known. Josh and J-Pole producing. You can watch the show on ProView Networks. Mike is back from his big Colorado run on the radio side. Want to hear from you, 505-246-0610. Again, guest list, Danny Gonzalez at 8 o'clock. Spring football starts tomorrow for UNM. 9 o'clock, former Lobo and five-time NBA champion with the Showtime Lakers, Michael Cooper, going to be with us 9 o'clock this morning on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Don't overpay for glasses.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20! Well, he needed to get his legs back under him. Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3 and he buries it.
He'll be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a...
Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance. And it's put up. And it's good. What a three that is by Jalen.
Sorry. Hito puts it up.
Rebound, Cowboys. Right side, David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domino Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Luscious. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it. Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes. Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it.
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer.
boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji. Into Watson with the jam.
I know Eddie Nunez said in the press conference that he's going to look at coaches, and JJ, I'm paraphrasing. How did he say it with head coaching experience? He didn't want to eliminate anybody who doesn't have head coaching experience, put himself in a corner. He didn't say what kind. Like when I talk about Cody Toppert, let's just say, Cody coached. He was head coach in the D League, right? Like Michael Cooper was. Cody. He just interests me so much because he was in player development for the Phoenix Suns, right? He was high up on the ladder, player development, coaching their D League, and from what I understand, quite successfully. And now he's on Penny Hardaway's staff at Memphis. Memphis beat Cincinnati yesterday. Memphis is third in the American. They're 10-3 and 14-6. Do you know Houston's not in first place in that league in the standings? Wichita State is, which is kind of crazy in its own right.
Well, Wichita State got him, 2 weekends ago?
Yeah, 2 weekends ago. Yeah. So just a bunch of different, you're going to hear all kinds of different names. You know, Mike Miller's name's going to come out and has with his connections with Eddie and at Florida. But that doesn't feel like that feels different to me than like a Cody Topper.
It's similar, just in kind of career paths where they're at right now. Mike Miller is actually coaching high school basketball in Houston right now. He was on Penny Hardaway's staff last year at Memphis. And Cody Topper, I think, is fascinating in that regard, as you touched on the player development, which is so important, but still being able to get into the recruiting circles that you need. But especially, you have that connection with the University of New Mexico, with the city of Albuquerque, with the state of New Mexico, which it's important. And Eddie touched on that. The community is a huge part of this job. To have that connection, it's one of the places that can be special in college basketball with what this team means to everyone else.
Boy, and his parents could ball, and his brother could shoot, and he could shoot. He was a stud at Academy and an Ivy League star. All right, Mike says, remember Jeff Alou? What a bad season around here was the NIT. When Gary Colson was fired because Lobo basketball was only in the NIT every year and was only putting 17,000 in University Arena every game, how badly would Nunez like to get back there? I don't remember it, but I heard about it because that's even before me. And I've been here a quarter of a century now, which is crazy to come out of my mouth. Yeah, I think that would be okay if that was a bad season now. Tellis says, if I'm Weir, I'm putting on my resume, Jeff, I deserve a mulligan for this season because my hands were completely tied by the governor. The governor had him go into a Mountain West Conference gunfight with a rusty old pocket knife. Yeah, he was dealt a tough hand. There's no doubt. Paul was dealt a tough hand. I don't hear anybody well, one guy I've heard just say, yeah, I'm glad that loser's gone or whatever. I don't like him. I don't know that I've got a sentiment that people like when Craig left 4 years ago, and it's like month short of 4 years ago. There were a lot of people who just were done with Craig, right? Just didn't like Craig. The Cullen thing was a big part of it. I never fell into the I don't like Craig category. I still actually kind of like Craig, and I know I'm in the minority. There's still this kind of mixed, like Rudy, right? People just, gosh, Paul's a nice guy. I wish it would have worked, and I think that's just kind of where we are with the majority of people.
It was the worst situation for Paul Weir to be in with a development team in a year that you weren't going to be able to develop. With the practice restrictions, the amount of travel involved, at some points in time early in the year, maybe you have a gym for an hour and a half where you can practice. It was worst case scenario all across the board for Lobo men's basketball.
All right. Hondo wants to talk about money. He says, where's the cash going to come from, Jeff? The worst part is the $15 million isn't necessary going to end at the conclusion of this season. He's talking about the debt. He says, do you see full venues in August? We have this ever-moving bar. What happens if Houston Baptist gets here and the governor says, sorry, Bernalillo County's only at turquoise and they need to be at XYZ level to have more than 5,000 in the stands? We'll reevaluate in 2 weeks. The rating's just going to pile up. Yeah, look, revenue's an issue. I will give Eddie the credit and the boosters. I had heard weeks ago that the money had been raised, and I think I told you this, had been raised privately in regards to the buyout of the contract. So that it wasn't coming out of the money that was already there, that the budget, that this was privately raised money. I know people who say, well, then why can't they raise that all the time? Well, you can only go to the well so many times. But how much can you afford to pay? Remember, Alfred was going to sign that new contract north of $1 million. Can you go there again? Like how much can you pay, and how much will that dictate who you can speak with?
Eddie said on Saturday morning it's probably about the same area what Paul Weir was making if you get a little creative here and there. So I think that does still put you with a lot of these names, especially some of the guys that are coming off of big-time jobs. It would make sense. I think another name to throw out there to look out for is Archie Miller. It sounds like he might be at the end of his Indiana tenure.
Yeah, I like that name too. I think he did a great job at Dayton before the Indiana job, and he parlayed that. And, you know, I wonder with some of these guys that are leaving a place like that or South Carolina that are going to get a sizable payout. Remember when Bob Toledo came here to be the offensive coordinator for Rocky Long? He was fired at UCLA, and he came in. How are you getting him? Because the payout he was getting at UCLA made up the difference for whatever he wasn't making in salary here. And so sometimes that can work. We'll talk more about this. Michael Cooper is going to be with us at 9 o'clock. When we come back, we'll talk a little football. Danny Gonzalez is the head football coach at the University of New Mexico. Spring practice starts tomorrow. That's next on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Davino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
Protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. And it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles, look out! Chavez up the sideline, stays in bounds, touchdown, Volcanovic!
That replay, I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire in first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. It's into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
Run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. Looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
Throw it. Looking. Here comes the run. Being chased, looks across, throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught, touchdown. Siembieda.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and J.J. Bach.
Well, we'll talk more hoops. Oh, I got it. It's March, and I'm well aware of what's going on, and I know you are too, and we'll take your suggestions and who you hire in as head coach. And no, I got it. I got it. We're going to go. But also, it's spring football time. And tomorrow, well, I guess the Aggies play a game next weekend. They're going to play in the Sun Bowl against Dixie State, so it's spring season for them. For the University of New Mexico, spring football will open up on schedule, and it will be tomorrow is when they get started. In fact, I believe, JJ, they are having an in-person, like a real live, people are going to be there, press conference tomorrow. And Dan, I think
I'm just excited about practice. We talking about practice.
The head football coach at the University of New Mexico going into his second spring as the coach is Danny Gonzalez. He joins us. Good morning, Danny. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing?
Life's good, man. Everything's all right. It's kind of a crazy time, isn't it, at the university? And for you guys to be opening up, and when things feel like they're loosening a bit, you're gonna have you're gonna look at reporters in the face instead of on a Zoom thing for the first time in a year.
I mean, how awesome is that? One, thanks for having me on. Two, I mean, look at the weekend we just had. I mean, we get a sweep by the baseball team against Air Force. Our ladies just pounded Utah State yesterday. I mean, that's awesome as we're getting closer to the tournament. We're able to do things here at home. I mean, it's everything's starting to look upward, and then we get to start football practice tomorrow. I mean, we've had a good 5 weeks in the weight room, and now it's time to go run into each other a little bit and see if we can get better as a football team.
All right, so what do you do? I guess coaches probably have goals. Well, I know not probably. I know you have goals. As you go into a spring like this, coming off of a short season where you ended with 2 games where you saw a lot of improvement, the goal going into spring practice is what?
Right now, we need to get fundamentally better. I mean, we like I talked about last year, the expectation going into spring was for them to learn exactly how we expect them to do things. And now that we're a year into the program, we've got a bunch of kids that are already the ones that are getting after guys that aren't playing to our level. Now, we're not there yet. They don't know the total expectations, so we're still going to have to coach effort, and I don't think you can ever stop coaching effort. But you hear rumblings from the kids now and then about, oh, come on, we don't do it that way, which is a really positive sign. So fundamentally, we need to get a lot better. We need to get a lot better at blocking and tackling, and obviously Isaiah throwing the football, and Trey too, and those guys. So we need to work on the fundamentals and just get better as a football team. And that's the exciting opportunity that we get to do it here instead of going all the way to University Stadium West.
It sounds like after one season that you're hearing those rumblings. It sounds from outside that what you want, the way you want to do it, the culture has been, at least the foundation is laying, and they get it now.
Totally, yeah. That was, and I said that was part of the whole marathon thing. I mean, we do things completely different than most people, and I say it all the time. Culture change doesn't mean something was bad. It's just our culture. It's different. We just want them to do things the way we do them, the model that we put in, and so them learning exactly what the coaches want, learning each other. I think the time that we were in the hotel, the 6 weeks, the 42 days we were in the hotel, really helped that because we were together 24 hours a day. So I think that might have put that a little bit forward, a little faster than normal. So there's a positive out of that. But now they understand what we want. So when we're getting after them, they know why we're getting after them. We're not just getting after them to it's not just noise now. And now it's actually instruction behind it that they understand. And so I'm excited to get going again.
And Danny, it was an abbreviated spring last year. So what can this team get out of having, as you said, a couple weeks in the weight room, spring practice, and then hopefully a full off season? Just how much can you get done this season as opposed to what happened last year?
You know, I mean, we got 8 practices in last year, and then we thought we were going to be on a 3-week abbreviation. It ended up being 108 days. I think we've got a plan for, like Jeff said, we get to have an in-person press conference tomorrow. I mean, that excites me in itself to actually look people in the eye. we can have some people, some media at practice, and then Saturday we'll be in the stadium. So we'll work on that this week to see what we can do about people watching practice on the weekend. For the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, Friday practice, we will be on the grass field. So we won't open that up to the public yet, just because we don't have it organized to do all those things. But just the idea of being able to do those things is unbelievable, and it'll get some excitement. Look at the atmosphere. I was at the baseball games this weekend. That was an unbelievable atmosphere. That was awesome for Coach Birmingham and those guys, and for them to sweep the Air Force Falcons and be in first place in Mountain West is awesome. There's just a lot of excitement, and so the opportunity to have 4 full weeks of spring practice, God, that gets me so fired up just to get better as a football team.
He is Danny Gonzalez, the head football coach at the University of New Mexico, with us on the opening drive.
Danny, so do you have a hierarchy at the quarterback position? When you lay out your spring training plan, kind of what does it look like across the board, and is it open for a lot of these spots on your football team?
I think every spot on our football team is open. It's an open competition at all the spots. Obviously Isaiah played very well at the end. Trey is back healthy. Connor's not healthy yet. He's still rehabbing from having surgery on his wrist. Brant's not healthy yet. Tavaka's not cleared to go. So between Bear and Melichek, who's the new freshman that just got here, and Trey and Isaiah, they'll take all the reps. Now, we don't hit the quarterbacks in the spring. I thought about maybe hitting them anyway, but we'll see as we get towards the scrimmages that we can do those things. But those 3 guys are going to get a ton of reps. And the 14 seniors that we have coming back, the COVID seniors that got the extra year, they will definitely help us up front, both on the offense and defensive lines. That's the biggest positive out of that. And so just having the 15 practice opportunities and letting those guys get as many reps, and nobody has a for sure starting spot. So, everything we do in our program, whether it be in the weight room, which they're doing right now, or if we are in the classroom, the meeting room, we compete. And so it's an open competition all the way across the board.
Danny, to hear Tavaka's not cleared is really concerning. It's been 4 months-ish since he last played. I understand that there's certain privacy rules, but that would certainly be concerning. What can you tell us? Why is he not cleared? I don't know how much you can get into it.
Well, it's very concerning, 1, for the young man. 2, as far as the total framework of what's going on with Tavaka, honestly, the doctors have been really quiet with him. He's not cleared from the time that he got hit in the Hawaii game. So most importantly, we're just focused on making sure that Tavaka's healthy and everything's fine with him before we do anything to get him cleared to play football. One, prayers for him always. He's still one of us, and he's there every single day. So we're going to move forward as is, and when the doctors tell me that he's good enough to play football, if his family decides that he wants to continue doing that, then we're going to welcome him back. And if he decides that he doesn't want to, I'm completely okay with that too. I'm just a sportsful young man with however he is.
Danny Gonzalez is with us for a few more minutes as spring practice gets started tomorrow. He's with us on the opening drive.
Well, Danny, when you look at what you were able to do in the abbreviated season last year, the players that you return, the players that you add, how do you feel about Lobo football heading into your first full spring practice?
I'm very excited and optimistic, just like I was last year at this time. It's the marathon, not a sprint analogy is still in place. We got better as the season went along. We were very competitive. We were competitive in every game. Even I say this all the time, and it sounds pretty dumb, but the 28-0 air game against Air Force, we were competitive in that game. We had a chance in the second half if we would take care of the football down in Air Force's end to be right back in that game. We missed 4 field goals. We have the ball inside their 35 times and come up with no points. That's just ridiculous. So we were very competitive last year. I think the first 4 weeks was kind of like a fall camp. We didn't really get a whole lot of preseason practice just because of all the health orders and the ups and downs of what are we going to do. We played terrible on Thanksgiving night. That was game 5. And then after that, 6 and 7 would have kind of been the first week of really the regular season. And our kids, they believed in what we were doing, and it was just the toughest man mentality. If we're going to keep, Wyoming, that's a beautiful football team. They're big, they're physical, they're mean, And our kids just took the challenge of, you know what, if you're the bully on the block, well, we're going to step up, we're going to punch you in the mouth and see who can stand up the longest. And we made enough plays at the very end when Brandon Shook caused that fumble and then Jake Saltonstall jumped on it because we've got those guys running to the football like we expect to. I mean, those are the little things that we can point out that show, hey, guys, these are the things that are different between winning and losing. And that was the difference in that game. We had zero thought of letting them score to try and let the offense go down. We were going to try and keep them out of the end zone, and Brandon Shook made a heck of a play, and that led into, I told the guys when they first got back from vacation, you know, before the Fresno week, I'm going to be honest with you, I was scared to death. I thought on Tuesday and Wednesday that we might just go out there and just get walloped by them because our kids were walking around with so much confidence. I mean, I was like, guys, we haven't arrived. I mean, who do you think you are? I was getting frustrated with them, and they were just having fun. And when we got down by 10 a couple times in that game, it was no big deal. They acted like it was no big deal. And then we just kept pounding away. And the second half of the Fresno game was actually a pretty decent-looking football team. And so to build off of that momentum, now, the people around the city of Albuquerque are excited, and that's what we want them to be. But don't get too crazy yet. We're not a really good football team. We're not even a good football team. We've got a long way to go. We can be competitive this year, and we should win our share of games and continue to build this thing. But our kids believe, and that's half the battle. And once they believe, shoot. I mean, we won 2 games in league. They hadn't done that since 2016. We won 2 games in a row. We won 2 games in a row while we're going into the fourth quarter, trailing in both games. They haven't done that since 2013. I mean, it's unbelievable the doors we knocked down from Las Vegas. That just excites me because we've got a lot of doors to knock down to get to that 5th conference championship.
All right, lastly, what's the difference in Danny Gonzalez now than maybe 12 months ago? Because you sounded confident, you sounded good last year, but going into your first year as a head coach going into spring, and it's your show, what have you learned? What do you do different? What's the difference in you than maybe a year ago?
You know, I might be a little bit more grumpy because everything we don't control a lot of things. I've gotten really good at making schedules, Jeff, I'll tell you that, because they give me information all the time and I have to change them. So I give Coach Long a hard time all the time about, man, you never had to do half of this stuff. So, I mean, I'm really talking about him. I'm so excited that he's with us and helped me through this first year, especially with all the COVID situation we have to deal with. The head coaching part of it, I miss being a position coach and having those guys that you can bring over to your house and have a dinner with 10 guys. And, I mean, we weren't able to do that anyway this year. But there's a lot of things that game day is I mean, it's different nervousness. I mean, it's all about winning. That's all that matters to me is winning. Now, we want to make these kids good young men and develop them, and that's important. But when we're on the field, everything we do, we compete. And I was telling our guys the other day, I mean, we go offense, defense, and practice when we're doing tug-of-war or anything. And whenever there's a loser, there's consequences for losing, whether it be up downs or extra running or whatnot. And the offense beat the defense the other day, and so the defense was doing their punishment. It was like 15 up downs or something, and some of the offensive guys started doing them with them. And I blew my whistle. I'm like, hey, no. There's winners and losers in everything that we do. That's why we compete. So I kind of got mad at those guys for trying to be a part of the team, but we are going to focus on everything we do around here to win, to compete to win. That's all we do. And I think that's as a head coach, it's no different than a position coach. It's just you get way too much credit when things go good and not enough blame when things go bad. I mean, honestly, players win games, coaches don't. And we can screw them up, so we just got to continue to get them down the right path, and I'm excited. I'm telling you, Jeff, I'm excited about the future of Lobo football. We're going to win our 5th conference championship in the next few years, and the city of Albuquerque, they're going to rally behind us. And I can't wait till September 2nd. We're going to have people in our stadium and have a great atmosphere and bring all those things back that I know can be here.
Looking forward to it. It's good to hear you. It always is. Enjoy spring. I know we'll talk to you over the next few weeks. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I mean, it's an exciting time in Lobo athletics. I give Eddie a lot of credit, guidance for what he's done for just our athletic program, and I thank you guys for all the information that you put out there for us. I look forward to seeing you hopefully tomorrow, Jeff, and at practices. And everybody out there, let's get it going. Go Lobos.
Be well, Danny. Thanks. Danny Gonzalez, the head football coach at the University of New Mexico. More with you when we get back. Michael Cooper is going to join us coming up at 9 o'clock, and we'll talk more Lobo basketball then.
Now, speaking about being excited, I did not realize how much I needed that boost from a great workout, and I found it with F45. F45 training, classes that mix circuit and high-intensity training. The 45 is for 45 minutes. There's no wasted time when you show up for a class at F45. This weekend, I hit Varsity, Hollywood, and GOAT. We're talking, we went from cardio to strength training in one weekend. The classes change every day, so you're not going to get bored. You're only going to push yourself to do better. And get this, yes, certified trainers are there every class to help you along the way, so you don't feel overwhelmed. All fitness levels, when you go in there, whether you're looking to challenge yourself to get to another level or kickstart your fitness, F45 training is the place for you. And once you get in, you will be hooked. And if you're uncertain about it, they have a 7-day free trial, no strings attached. Sign up for the 7-day free trial. Check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app. That's what I use to look at the schedule of classes and then book the classes, because, yes, COVID-safe practices. You got to book your class so they manage class size, space it out, and you can get your workout done safely and confidently. They're located 5920 Holly Northeast. Great access right there, Paseo and I-25. And once again, check them out, f45training.com. Download the app to see the schedule of classes. And if you're in there, you see Jeremy Kendall be like, I heard this dude on the Sports Animal talking you up. And they're going to show you why I love F45, and it has helped me reignite my passion for fitness, especially after the year we have all been through. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45 Training.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Natalia Chavez, good spin. Takes a...
Here's Ramos. Nice jump stop through the...
Maybe gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a... Hill, little step, high window, and
got the second.
To the middle.
Here we go, 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry, Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo. Reverse layup. Gallegos spins, window, finishes.
There's a run coming from lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages.
Get some football to get you through your March, and to work your way through the college basketball coaching search. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck back to it. at 505-246-0610. That's how you can find us. Or 888-922-0610. I've got a stack of emails, and I'm going to get through them as we go through. And you all have thoughts, and I'm glad you do, and I want to hear them. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. And you can find us, JJ on the Twitter. It's _JJ Buck. Watch the show on ProView Networks on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM. Tella said vote was in the House this weekend and already copyrighted Rick Pitino for Lobo basketball coach. All right. I mean, that was out there weeks ago, too. The Pitino thing's interesting, right? The Pitino thing is going to be the big name, the big home run. He's won at an incredibly high level. The Pitino name is going to be of all the names, and there's some decent names on there. I think Frank Martin's a big name. I think John Beeline's a big name. Thad Matta. But the wow splash biggest name, I mean, bigger than Alford, is going to be Rick Pitino. Can you get over whatever happened at Louisville? The
answer to that question is yes, if you win. If you win, no one cares what you did or how you did it.
Yeah, at some point they cared, I guess, at Louisville, and they went a separate direction. But yes, that's right. I think Lobo fans would love that. I mean, I've told you this for years, and I firmly believe this. And I'm not telling you this is the direction you should go. But I firmly believe Lobo fans would take 5 years of probation for one run at the Final Four. If you had one run at the Final Four and then it came back 2 years later, oh, look, you didn't do it the right way, but you experienced that and you had that and you were 5 years on probation or 4 years or 3 years on probation, Lobo fans would absolutely take that. Now, there's some of you saying, no, I wouldn't, but I mean, in the majority, I think they would.
It's also like the craziest scenario. Just thinking, Rick Pitino is going to get you to a Final Four.
That's right.
It's a name, and here's the thing. My first reaction, Greg Marshall, Rick Pitino, I'm just like, no. Like, let's. You don't have to go there. Are they the same? But as you take a step back and you look at it from an overall picture of, okay, how are fans going to react to this? What would this mean for the program moving forward? Mm-hmm. You start going, okay, do you have to, not that you have to be, but does it make sense in this case for Greg Marshall to be the second chance program? And who knows what's up with Rick Pitino and Iona right now, just where his money is, the buyout. Because to your point, Steve Alford comes up. Have you looked at the buyout structure?
Yeah, that's why I don't even go there.
Yeah, that money ain't coming from anywhere. We're talking millions of dollars.
Rick Pitino is 68. For some reason, I thought he was older than that. Yeah, you want to hit on the Alford thing now? That's fine. The Alford thing, I've had so many conversations over the last few days about this. Oh, Steve wouldn't come back. No, I think Steve would come back. I do. I think Steve genuinely liked it here. And if you look at his coaching career, I don't even believe it to be arguable. The biggest run of success was at New Mexico, right?
Yes.
Where else would you say? Iowa?
You look at going to the Sweet 16 is not good enough at UCLA.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, gosh, he went there multiple times at UCLA. So, but it just never felt like it was right there. I just, the pressure there, and I think Steve's a development guy, right? Steve developed players. And at UCLA, the pressure to get one and dones and that kind, he had the whole ball mess that he was dealing with LeVar and Lonzo that had to be a distraction, although he never really said it was, but it had to be. I think Steve likes to develop, but I think he would in the right scenario. I just don't. To your point, how are you pulling that one off? Where you got a few $100,000 to buy out Paul Weir? How are you finding the millions not only to buy out his contract but then to pay him? Yeah, millions.
Yeah, that's the thing with Steve Alford. I know it's a name that comes up. Of course, people are intrigued about it. But let me introduce you to Steve Alford's buyout at Nevada. Year 3, $4 million.
Which is
year
next year.
5, $2 million. And
so it's a $4 million buyout.
$4 million.
Well, would this be considered year 2 still? We're still in year 2. So what's year 2?
Year 2 is $6 million.
So is this considered year 2? Or I mean, not that it matters, but year 2 or 3. This is still year 2, right?
That's where we're talking about right now when it comes to Steve Alford and his contract buyout.
Yeah. So easy on that. Just easy on that. That's why the Mike Brown thing intrigues me a bit. And I know that's not a name that's been out there a lot. NBA coach with the Cavaliers and the Lakers, Coach LeBron. Obviously, his son played here, Elijah. There's some ties here. That one, look, there's a ton of them. They're going to keep coming, and there's. I know Tim Miles is going hard for this job. I know that this is one he wants. I know he and David Williams are tight. When you and I look through the Tim Miles resume, and I, by every count, really good guy. Like the personality wise, he was terrific, right? Everybody liked him. The media loved him. The fans loved him. In his 5 years at Colorado State, he finished 9th, 8th, 5th, 4th, and 4th in league play. Is that acceptable for Lobo fan? I mean, right now it is, like today. But I mean, is that it? It's one CBI, one NIT, one NCAA. Parlayed it into his payday at Nebraska. It didn't work in Nebraska. And again, I'm not going to hold Nebraska against him. I just, to me, he was good. He might work here. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't get it. I've never gotten the just wow fascination. He was really good with the media in this league. He's on TV now. And he coached at the Big Ten. Okay.
He's on the list. I think you give him a look. If we're doing our hierarchy, the word of the day, all right, where are you putting these guys? He wouldn't be at the top of my list.
Who is at the top of your list? Because I love the Frank Martin thing.
Favorite right now. I think if I had to pick one, I'd put Frank Martin.
Yeah.
You look at what he was able to do at Kansas State. That was his most impressive run from 2007 to 2012. 4 NCAA tournament appearances with the Wildcats, 1 NIT. His overall record was 117 and 54. Before
what is it?
He was 117 and 54 overall at Kansas State.
Yep.
And then he took the South Carolina job in 2012, and he has, over that time, 2012 to present day, because he's still the head coach, 1 NCAA, 1 NIT appearance.
So that NCAA, weren't they a really high seed that one year? It doesn't matter. Because I think he's kind of right near at the top of my list, too. I like him. The Mike Brown thing, honestly, I'd like to take a deep dive on the Cody Topper thing. I know that's kind of off the beaten path a little bit. Damon Stoudemire feels like, first of all, Damon Stoudemire, it's not like he's having incredible success. He was the Big West, the WCC coach of the year last year. I guess they moved last year. It's not like they're killing it at Pacific. I think it feels like he's in line for the Arizona job, doesn't it? What?
That one is interesting. So you look at Damon Stoudemire. Took over Pacific in 2016.
Okay.
And so this was as of yesterday. His overall record at Pacific, he's 70 and 76.
Yeah.
33 and 47 in conference play.
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, okay. Now it's a tough place to win. I will give you that. When was the last time Pacific meant anything to you? It was when Michael Olowokandi was going to be on his way to becoming the number 1 overall draft pick of the Clippers. Okay, really good player. That does it just doesn't do it. The Mike Miller thing doesn't wow me. There's names though. There's. What do you think of Thad Matta?
I think that is intriguing, especially just seeing where he's at right now. You look at his run; it was a quick ascension. He had 1 year at Butler, made the NCAAs. Went to Xavier for 3 seasons, and then took over Ohio State in 2004. So that run he had at Ohio State from 2004 to 2017, 9 NCAA tournament appearances, 337 and 123.
In the toughest league.
Big Ten basketball, plenty
one of the
of
toughest.
NBA players through his program.
Yeah. That would jump to the top. John Beilein do anything for you?
Beilein is interesting because what he did at Michigan, he is out in very consistent program. Players that he was coming in, developing guys, sticking around. And Michigan they'd get a guy here and there, but it wasn't a program built on one and done players. So I think as we talk about player development being, I think, the number one aspect with recruiting for a college coach, Beilein would check those boxes, and maybe this is an opportunity for him to get back in it, because this coaching cycle, there's going to be a few more high-profile jobs open this season. Last year, I think everyone was hesitant.
That's right.
The NCAA tournament just happened. We're dealing with a global pandemic. You didn't see a lot of high-profile jobs open. Did Steve Forbes take the only open power job?
I think that's
last year.
Yeah, I think
that's so. That's going to factor into this a little bit more when you start talking about the Thad Matta, John Beeline, guys like that, of some of the other power conference jobs that open up this year.
Yeah, but they're out, right? I mean, and so it's going to be interesting where those places go too. All right, I'll start getting through your conversation, your emails when we get back. Phone lines are open, 505-246-0610. Former Laker and Lobo great Michael Cooper at the top of the hour. Micah's going to even give him a 30-minute warning. Say, what's up, Coop? We're ready to call you here in 30 minutes. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We are the University of New Mexico.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Ramos wants another.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores. Got into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo. Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Going to settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side post. Shot on and goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's going to go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Stripped. Danion stripped him. Come Highland the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it.
What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Provia Sports Network.
Cross with Evans. Evans has that ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Over dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass, wrap around pass.
Harris with Gates. The long bomb, 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back. LAU. Put it down. Dunkalicious. How about it?
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
All right. Let me read you some of your stuff. We'll go to the phones. Dean says, good morning. I think when Eddie was looking at his year-end review, all the boxes that needed to be checked for the success and future were just not being checked. And as JJ said, it's part of the business. No cherry blazer, I guess. Next guy better put it on. He says, I really like Ryan Odom. His mentor, his dad, Dave Odom, and others are basketball savvy. All right. So there's another name for you, JJ. You like Ryan Odom?
Put it on the list. And looking at some of the names that Twitter presented over the weekend, you're talking about high-profile guys at quote-unquote mid-major jobs. I mean, you're like, what would it take to get one of those guys out of there? Like someone brought up John Becker, who's not on anyone's radar, right? But it's a head coach at Vermont. You're looking at a dude that's 229 and 95 since 2011 at Vermont University. Scott Nagy, who's had 11 NCAA tournament appearances at South Dakota State. It's been at Wright State since 16, has one NCAA tournament appearance under his belt. Casey Alexander, who's the head coach of Belmont right now. They're a team that won 26, 24 games the last 2 years.
About Drake.
Put that on the list. So there's a lot of very intriguing options across the board.
You know, you could look at Drake. You could look at Montana. There's really successful coaches. You know, UNLV went that way when they made their hire, and their fan base was calling for the same thing: big name, make a splash. And then they went TJ Otzel. What? Right? That's where they were. You're 2 years into that. I'm not sure how they feel about that. Garcia says private funds. Let me translate what Nunez said, Jeffrey. They'll find a slush fund on main campus to pay for it. I don't think that's right this time. Honestly, first of all, what are we talking about? $245,000 over the next each of the next couple of years. I don't think that's right this time. John said, morning, guys. Some of the names dropped are simply entertaining and ridiculous. Alfred, Patino, Cooper. Come on, man. Let's go with a guy with head coaching experience in the game, not some has-been or someone that's been out of the game for a while. Some people don't remember that Alfred left after the famous "You Don't Mess with Happy." Yes, it was UCLA and more money, but also remember his recruiting fell off after the class of the Aussie point guard. I wonder if Alfred is still having his team practice half-court shots before big games, like in the Princeton debacle. They have a little fun half-court shoot-off at the end of the like.
Don't you have fun in life? Don't you have fun?
That's what they do at the Okay. I'm not going to get into the Alfred thing. I'm never going to blame a guy for taking that UCLA job and that opportunity. Derek, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Derek.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good, Derek. What's happening?
Good. 5 years ago today, I became a Las Vegas resident, believe it or not. 5 years already. Wow. Yeah, UNM, obviously, this is probably going to be the biggest hire that Nunez can make, because we all know that UNM men's basketball is the lifeblood of the athletic department, and they need, not to use that word, a splash, but they need to absolutely do something that and bring in someone that can get this thing turned around quickly and get the fan base excited and going, because UNM basketball pays for just about everything, so it's going to be a huge important hire, and something I hope they take their time and just make sure that they do get it right. On Friday, you were kind of talking about I guess you have a vote for the player of the year.
Yeah.
For men's basketball.
I do.
My vote would go to Luka Garza at Iowa.
He's good.
He leading the nation in points. He's number one in Ken Palm's efficiency rating. He's constantly doubled and triple teamed, and he's doing it on one of the better teams in the country in the best conference. So, for my 2 cents, that would be my vote if I were you. But
well noted.
With a grain of salt. But you guys have a great day, a great week, and we'll talk again.
See you, man. Well noted on the Luka Garza thing. That's a hard argument right there. Is he near the top of your player of the year? He's got to be, right?
Absolutely. Luka Garza is up there. Dude has been an absolute beast the entire season.
Bruce said, names I don't want to hear, Jeff. There was a caller on the weekend, OD. I think his name was Wayne, who suggested Nunez spend $150,000 to hire Jim Hulsman or whatever high school coach is available and drop the program down a level. Please hang up on those calls. It's from Bruce. We had that call. We had that caller. $150,000. He gave you 5 high school coaches' names: William Benjamin and Greg Brown, and I know
it's an idea, man. It's just an idea.
And you can
everyone needs their opportunity, but it's not going to be at the University of New Mexico jumping from high school coach to D1 head coach.
Yeah, and I'm going to squash this before it happens, because I hear this every time we have this conversation every 4 years or so. Well, Don Flanagan did it. He went from El Dorado, and look what he... Okay. The Lobo women's program, now you're going to tell me they can't get any further down than they are. They're at the bottom of their league. And you're not totally wrong. But the expectations for your men's basketball program, your history of your men's basketball program, are 1,000% different than where that women's basketball program was when Don Flanagan took it over. Yes, he had some stupid record, like hundreds of wins and 11 losses at El Dorado or whatever. It was one of those crazy. And yeah, Flanagan created this women's basketball coach. Absolutely. But you're not taking that shot with your men's basketball program. You cannot. You can't afford it. And those guys might be successful. But, and by the way, I think it would have the adverse effect of what Wayne thinks. I don't think people would I think people would lose their minds and walk away from the program before they walk to it. It's just my thought. More from you, Michael Cooper, at the top of the hour on the opening drive. We're on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Last night's sleep interrupted by pain? Tonight.
He's going to go all the way. He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Could have said that any better. He answered the question.
On got another steal one at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball line. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam.
Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Played over to Madrid. Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
Over this first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Nick Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
And he got it!
He scored!
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did! Oh my God!
Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in.
Ramos to Gaxiola. High window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
Folks wanted when Weir was hired. Now he's making $2 million a year, I think, as a base, and he's a head coach in the NBA. Think he's coming back for that pay cut? Bruce says, the ironic thing, Jeffy, is when Alfred was here, everyone liked Craig. And when there was schmoozing to be done, Alfred usually sent Neil to do most of it. Then it got sour. Yeah, that's all true, actually. That's all actually true. 246-0610, 8889-220-610. Lobo Hobo's in on football. Jeff, that Hawaii game was November 7th. If Tavaka doesn't participate in spring, there's no way he plays in 2021, right? Of everything that Danny said, that was the thing that just, boom. I didn't even consider 4 months later, November, December, January, February, I guess 3 months, that Tavaka wouldn't be cleared at this point.
It's scary. And it's what we were talking about last year. It's at this point just on his health. And even if he is cleared to play, you don't ever want to take something away from someone. But if you've gone this long, you're still not cleared to play football, and it probably wasn't the first head injury he's suffered playing the game of football. You have to start thinking about his future, and that's what Danny Gonzalez said. You know, he's like, we're there for the young man. We're concerned about his health. He's here. He's around. We're going to do everything for him. But first and first and foremost, it's not just, oh, can you be quarterback for the Lobos? It's what are you doing for the rest of your life after this?
Oh, that's right. We've had that conversation. Yeah. All right, Fred, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Fred.
Hey, guys. Hey, I wanted to talk about Lobo women, but also I want to talk about the baseball this weekend. The one thing about the Lady Lobos that I'm hoping we'll find out, because right now they still haven't announced it yet, and maybe JJ, since he is the voice of the ladies, he might know more than what I'm saying, but they haven't announced about where the women are going to play Colorado State at. If you look at the schedule, it says the men are going to be at Fort Collins. For the women, it says to be announced. And I'm hoping and praying that they can win the game against Utah State, get on a plane, get home, get into their beds, relax, have a good meal the day before that game on Wednesday, and then they play Wednesday, Friday, and play it at night, because I know the COVID thing, I think they do the testing during the day, but play the games in the evening and finish it up, because we're going to beat Utah State today, I'm saying. And so then all we do is we beat Colorado State, we win the championship, and I think it'll make a big difference playing, here in town, even though there won't be people maybe there, but just to be home cooking, home beds, and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully they can do that. And the thing that was really nice that if you noticed in the column today, Bradbury was able to get all the bench in for a lot. Like usually our starters play 35 minutes or more. And if you look at all the starters, they played 23, 21, 22, 23. And so they got some rest. And then Hurst actually got in, which was nice, and she'll get in again today. And so, everything's looking good for us. UNLV swept Fresno. There's 4 really, really good teams in the Mountain West. We split with UNLV. We split with Fresno. Hopefully we sweep Colorado State. But anyway, I just want to say that hopefully we play those 2 games here in Albuquerque. And then the last thing, though, is the baseball. God, it was so cool to go to the baseball game and see the stands. It looked like a real college baseball facility with all the fans in there, especially Sunday, because for some reason they let even more people in on Sunday. They had 734 people or something like that. It really looked impressive, spread out throughout the stadium. And so congratulations on them. And also about Lively, who's from Las Cruces, New Mexico. He was hitting 95 and 96 miles an hour the whole day. And things are really looking up for baseball. So that's it,
good
guys.
Weekend for them.
Talk to you later.
All right, Fred. See ya. 505-246-0610. Everybody who was out there seemed to love it. Just to be at a event. I think, JJ, it could have been us playing the afternoon show in softball, and people
slow pitch softball, and if you could be there, you'd be like, "Yeah, let's go."
Seriously, and so that was good to see. All right, 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Bill says, "Can I throw out a name, Jeffy? Former Lobo assistant Larry Chiat." I'm not sure I love that. I don't know that that's where you want to go, but I know he's interested and he's had success. He knows here. Most recently was a head coach at Wyoming. I think we're kind of all a little surprised that they let him go at Wyoming. He had some success. I think you can recruit better to New Mexico than Wyoming, I think, don't you? He went to Clemson and has had a really good career, but Larry Chiat's been a coach in this league. Does that do anything for you?
Put it on the list. Intrigued. Don't know if it's a top contender right now, but it's on the list.
Irony, says AC. How ironic if UNM got to a Sweet 16, then got put on probation, then UNM will finally acknowledge the Aggie Sweet 16 run. It's funny. The Steve Alford ship has sailed, says Bill. Jeff Nunez had his one and only chance last year when he decided to keep Weir. So if we're having this conversation, this is 2 years ago, wasn't it? This is Steve's second year. Yeah. If we're having this conversation 2 years ago, this would be after Paul's second season. then you're having this conversation about I agree with him on his headline. I think the Alford ship has sailed. All right, Michael Cooper was a great at the University of New Mexico. Won 5 championships in the NBA with the Lakers. Won a championship as a coach in the D-League with the Thunderbirds and 2 in the WNBA with Los Angeles. He's going to be with us when we come back. Former Lobo great. Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. Portell.
The outside of running an out route.
Davison in the play action looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown. Back to toss, and he's got all day. It's one miss, and he's rolling. He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
We told you he
touchdown.
Could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the win in his back, but.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. There he goes. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. There's Natalia Chavez. Good spin. Takes it.
Here's Ramos. Nice jump stop through the.
Play with the gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a.
Hill, little step, high window. With a...
Got the second. Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup.
from
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. Don't sweat the technique. This is the opening drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Buck. Don't sweat the technique.
Any conversation about Lobo basketball, and we've been having a lot of conversation about Lobo basketball, always includes the name Michael Cooper when we're talking about the greatest who ever came through here. And after a terrific career at the University of New Mexico, Coop went on to a terrific career in the NBA, in which he won 5 championships with the Showtime Lakers, went on and has won a championship as a coach in the D-League with the Thunderbirds back here in Albuquerque, 2 championships in the WNBA, was a head coach for women's basketball at USC, and still is the only person to have won a championship in the D-League, the WNBA, and the NBA, and that's Michael Cooper. It's the opening drive. I'm Jeff Siembieda with JJ Buck. We'll get back to your phone calls in a little bit, but it's a pleasure to welcome back to the show for the first time in quite some time, former Lobo and Laker great and former Thunderbirds coach, Michael Cooper. Good morning, Coop. How you doing?
Gentlemen, how are you guys doing? It's a pleasure to be on with you.
Oh, it's great to hear you, and I appreciate you spending some time. I know you watch Lobo basketball, Coop. As a Lobo basketball fan, how closely, because you've been coaching, I know you did a Big 3 stint, you've been coaching at Chadwick High School. How closely do you get to watch Lobo basketball, follow your alma mater?
Well, you know what? The previous coach there, Coach Ware, invited me down, so I've been more closer to the program at this point in time than I have in the past. But I've always watched from afar. I watched them, some of the games, caught some of those. So very knowledgeable about, obviously, Lobo basketball. And, here we go again. Every few years this comes up, and I want to be considered seriously this time.
Yeah, every few years when this comes up, your name is up there, and this is something that I know you want. And with your coaching background, Coop, why do you think this is right? Because there's so much with your background that's got people buzzing. Yeah, maybe it is time for Coop. Maybe it isn't. Who knows? But why is it the right time, Coop?
Well, I think for me, in watching Lobo basketball, it's about character and integrity. Bringing that back to the program, bringing Lobo basketball up to prominence. And I know COVID has been very, very difficult for all sports around, especially basketball. But it's about, this is going to end eventually, and you got to get the fans excited. I think my knowledge at every level of this game has definitely put me in position to understand what it takes to get a program up and running, no matter whether it's college, women, high school, or professional.
Let me ask you this, because every time your name comes up in a conversation for the head coaching job, and I know it's happened, I want to say the last 3 coaching searches, people always say to me, yeah, but does he have his degree? And I know at one point that was an issue. Can you just, where are we with that piece of paper? You did get your degree, correct?
No, I haven't got my degree, but
okay.
I'm working toward it. I've taken some online classes. But I think at this point in time, I think there's so many great people that have done successful things in the world without a degree. I do hold total responsibility for that, and that's something I'm working on. But again, my life is, I'm doing a lot of things. I'm in the process of writing a book now, coaching and stuff like that. But that's something that I really do need to shore up. And if that's the one that keeps me out of the running, then that's shame on me. But I hope that, when I coach with women at USC,
right.
Over there, Mike Garrett, that wasn't required. He just come there and he said, Coop, let's get this program going. And that kind of bypassed that. And in the process, I was doing some little things. So, that's the downfall on me. And if that holds me back, then shame on Michael Cooper.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that was a prerequisite or where that was. Michael Cooper is with us on the opening drive.
Michael, JJ Buck here. What were the emotions when you were a player at the University of New Mexico that went through you when you walked down that ramp to take the floor? What was it like for you in that experience, and then how would you translate that? How would you share that with this generation?
You know what? That passion, that excitement, that pride, walking down that ramp and coming into the pit and seeing all the fans there and just really excited about giving us the energy to get out there and play Lobo basketball is like no other feeling that you could ever have. I got a little bit of that with the Lakers, but it's just a different feeling coming down that ramp. And that's one thing that I have personal experience of, that Lobo pride and that passion to if this were to become a reality, is to bring that back not only to the coaching staff and to basketball, but to the whole university, getting out in the community. I love the fact that you get out there on campus and do the things that you got to do to get people excited about a Lobo game. And, I mean, it's something that, as a player, you never, ever, ever forget it. And I've been, 35, 40 years now, and I still get tingly when I think about coming down that ramp.
Michael, as a kid from California, was it on your recruiting visit? Was it your first game? Like, when did it hit you that this place, Albuquerque, the Pit, the University of New Mexico, was different when it comes to basketball?
You know, my first recruiting trip, I went to Utah State because Coach Jim Herrick was there, and he was recruiting me. And I went up to Utah, and it happened to be snowing, and it was just a bad snowstorm. And I just said, oh, you know, by higher power, Lord, please get me back home to California, and I'll never leave. I'll never go to a cold place again. My next recruiting trip was to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And back then, in the 70s, that was when you could get on a plane, and they had to push the stairs up to the exit, and you walk out on the stairs, and you walk down, and then you walk into the terminal. I remember get off the plane, and I remember standing on the top of that, and I looked back west. And it seemed like I could see my home from there. And it was sunny and bright, and I said, you know what? I knew at that point in time, right then, that Albuquerque was going to be home and the place that I wanted to go to school. And I remember going through the process, when I got back home in 2 or 3 days, I signed my letter of intent with Coach John Wisnott.
And John,
so I knew immediately, guys.
No, it's something about this place, and Coach Wisnott's still around. Michael Cooper is with us on the opening drive. Coop, you when you came back where you sit with the T-Birds, and you talked about it then, how this place just made an impression on you, and you still have a love for it. Eddie Nunez said in his press conference, the athletic director the other day, said, something about appreciation of this place, knowing the culture, knowing this place is different. And it feels like, and I know you said it when you were at the T-Birds, it's a place that you still love, and you've got a passion for the quirkiness and what the special place that is Albuquerque.
Well, you know what? I've been there a long, long time, all the way back. Albuquerque has been my second home. When I come back, I used to run the group camp, basketball camp for the 18, 20 years that I did there. It's just a place that I feel comfortable. It's a place that deserves respect. The place, Albuquerque is, and I always tell kids, and when I talk to young people about it, when they're making decisions and all around, I just tell them, you know what, Albuquerque is kind of like a big city, a big university in a small city. And Albuquerque has grown tremendously over the years, but it still has that little quiet hometown feeling. That's how I get when I'm still there. I have friends there. My best friend Henry's still there, and I get down there every now and then. So to me, Albuquerque is very special. I mean, the school goes with the city goes with the school, and there's not many places that you can get that, and that's why I love Albuquerque so much.
A few more minutes with Michael Cooper, the former Lobo great, former Laker great. Hey, Coop, this program, where it is now, I in my quarter century here, I've never seen it at the bottom of the standings. It's going to take, I don't know if it's a total rebuild, but certainly a rebuild. And it's whoever's going to come in, it's going to be a lot of work. When you look at it, what do you see with the program, and how do you get it back there to where you and the rest of the alumni and the fans expect it to be?
Well, it starts with recruiting, and that's first and foremost. And my times that I've spent out here, I currently coach my son, and I have an AAU who won elite, so I get a chance to get out and see a lot of the schools. Coaching at Chadwick, I see a lot of the young players here. That's going to be the lifeline of any program, and the abundance of kids that are out here that could come and help a program. And again, I'm not just talking about at-risk kids academically. I'm talking about kids with 3.8, 4.0, academic GPAs that can come and help a program. So to me, that's the first thing that you have to do. You have to get into recruiting, not just in California, out west, but you got to go down south. You got to go back east. You got to, and I'm not talking about getting 5 or 6 kids. You know, it's about getting that 1 or 2 kids that build your program so that it gets up and running. And it starts, to me, with a big person. You got to have that big guy, and then you got to have a point guard. But those are all the necessary facts that you have to do to get a program. When I coached at SC, the women's program, it was very, very hard to get players there because the women's pool is a little bit smaller. But being there for 4 years and then having to leave because of the undoing that eventually came out with my senior women's administrator, we built that program. They won the Pac-12 championship, first time in like 8 or 10 years there. So I understand how to build a program, but it's hard work. You got to get out there. You have to know people, and you have to make it work. I don't golf, so you're not going to find me on a golf course. You're going to find me at where I was all the time when I'm coaching basketball, is learning this game from the inside out, always trying to make things better. But recruiting is the lifeline of any major college program.
Nothing wrong with a little golf now and then, but can UNM afford your buyout at Chadwick High School? Like, I don't know what it is, but they're going to have to negotiate. Michael Cooper.
I did that job actually because a friend of mine that was in my AAU program, her son went there. She was like, Coop, the things that you talk about, your 5Ds, the mentorship that you have with kids around here would be great. And I went up there and I interviewed, and it was like, okay, we'll take it. So I just kind of like do that as the hourly thing that I do. But again, it's for me, it's the love of the game. And the love that the Lobo fans have for Lobo basketball, they deserve that excitement back again. And that's what I do at Chadwick.
Well, Michael, to that point, how do you translate a program's history? And we talked about your emotion, but when you look at the overall picture for UNM, what that arena has meant, the players that have come through, the teams that we have seen, how do you present that to a kid that's 16, 17 years old and doesn't know about that? So how do you make that resonate with today's player?
Well, I can talk about my experiences there. Obviously, we'll have film, and you have your recruiting tools. You have your other assistant coaches going out and talking about it. You bring the kid in for a visit. It's just a matter of what comes from within you. And I know Lobo basketball better than anyone. That doesn't really say that I should have this job. I think this job is on the work ethic and the merit of the individual, and Mr. Nunez will be able to he'll get to interview people and make his decision on that. But for me, that's how I can get kids to buy in. You have to sell your dream to these kids and their families, or their that high school coach, or that person that's significant to them. And I think I can sell this better than anyone. I have done that, and I continue to do that. And for me, that's how you get someone to buy into the program.
Well, you've got incredible experience and success at every level, and love this place, and obviously a passion for New Mexico. How do you feel when the Lakers won last year, and getting the Lakers returned to a place that they're accustomed to be, where their fan base, where their former greats expect them to be?
Well, you know, that was great, and they did it under some trying situations, big in a bubble. I almost put them back into like that college atmosphere. So as they were going through that, and I do a show on Sunday called Slam Dunk, so we got a chance to talk about it, and we talked about that. And I mean, this Laker team is very good. I just wish they hadn't gotten rid of JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, because their length is what kept them different from other teams, and I think that's why they have their little struggles now. But, you know, they had a great game last night against the Warriors. AD is going to be out for an extended period of time, and I think it's going to be some adjustments. And as I say to everybody else, the Lakers have to take it a game at a time. But it's good that they got off to a great start. I got a championship ring from them in 2020, so I was very excited about that. So I added to my championship ring. That was a lot of fun.
So now you got 6 in the NBA, 2 in the WNBA, and 1 in the D League. If my math is right, that's 9, correct?
And came up short in the Big 3. Trying to get that one there. I've had a wonderful time in coaching that. Hopefully we'll be able to get that going. But right now, everything is pretty much at a standstill. So that's 9 championship rings.
You still with Three's Company at the Big 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think JaVale McGee's problem, maybe he plays golf and maybe they let him go because I mean, I don't know. Coop, it's great to catch up with you, my friend. I'm glad you're doing well. Best to the family. And you sound like you're in a good place. And I know Lobo Fan talks about you all the time. And I'm sure it was good for them to catch up with you. Best of luck as you go through this. I know there's a lot of people around here who are pulling for you. And so thanks for spending some time with us. Continued success, my friend.
Jeff and JJ, thank you so much. And I'm ready to, our slogan back in 1978 when we won the WAC, make it happen. I'm ready to make it happen.
Now, I think a lot of Lobo fans love to hear that. Coop, be well. We'll talk soon, all right?
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Take care. Michael Cooper. I say the great Michael Cooper. There's no doubt, huh? He wants it. He's excited about it. And he's had success at a lot of levels. And obviously, he's thought through it a bit.
That is a lot of winning that man has done at various levels, a lot of time invested in coaching and player development, and ultimately, though, always going to be a fan favorite for Lobo fans. And I love the fact, too, that it can be a reminder, like, I didn't see Michael Cooper play. That was well before my time. But you hear about the stories about him, you hear the way he talks about the University of New Mexico, you look at his collegiate career, the 2 years here, and then what he did in the NBA, it's a reminder of, oh, yeah, you can have special moments at the University of New Mexico.
All right, we'll talk about what he said when we get back. A few truths for you, though, as you roll through your Monday. As men age, things like fatigue and low T, hair loss are natural. There's a good chance it'll happen to you, and there's something you can do to battle nature, and you can feel good. I want to tell you about NewMail. If you're experiencing any of these things, you're regularly tired, maybe carrying a few extra pounds, or you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, I suggest you call NewMail. They've helped thousands of men deal with these issues for years. Their testosterone replacement utilizes the latest cutting-edge technology. Men all over the country benefited, and they feel better. Call them at 505-652-1688 or visit NewMail. That's NUMALE.com. Guys, NewMail's convenient. They're right here in Albuquerque. The process is comfortable, starting with the first phone call all the way through the treatment. They will guide you through the process. The best part is the results are absolutely real. 505-652-1688. Don't put it off. Take care of you. Visit NewMail.com or call 505-652-1688 and feel better.
Document
second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
In the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
Well, he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time to Hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes, and a finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3, no, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
Sid says, Mr. Siembieda, that interview sent chills down my spine. That guy as coach would get Sid back on the bandwagon. That is from Sid. All right, let me. I want to address the biggest question I ever get with him is the degree, and I probably should have just left it as, Coop, do you have your degree? Not, you have your degree, right? And he said, no, I don't. He owned it, and he stood up. Now, to his point, USC, which is a very prestigious academic institution as well, did not have that as a requisite. I'm not telling you UNM should or should not. That's not for me to tell you. And I understand that if you're urging student athletes to get a degree, you want the guy sitting in the head chair to be able to set that example. So you all decide if that should disqualify him or not. He was very open about it and said, if that's it, that's on me. He's close. He said he's still working on it. He has been a successful coach at the D-League level, at the college level, at the WNBA level. Now he's trying to win a Big 3 championship. So what? Just let's hit that and then move on, because honestly, that's the one thing I'm always asked. Coop doesn't have his degree. He can't do it. And there was whichever search it was, 1, 2, 3, 4 times ago, whichever president was here said, nope, that has to be, the head basketball coach has to have a degree.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to the decision at the moment, whether it's coming down from the university president or something that the athletic director of the department would like from their head coach in this situation, because it is student athletes. Even as much as we talk about the business side of it, there still is a sense of, all right, you're going to a university, it's an opportunity to play sport, but there's the other aspect to it.
Coop for coach, says Lobo Hobo. Just 3 words, Coop for coach. All right. Other than that, man, it was exciting to hear me. Like, there's a piece, and I love the question that you asked. How do you rekindle history? How do you make something like that relevant, right? To your point, you never saw Coop play here. I don't know if you even saw him play with the Lakers, right? That's before your time. He was one of the best defenders the NBA ever saw, ever. Larry Bird said he was the toughest defender he ever played against. Coop was an integral part, the 6th man on a Laker team that won 5 championships. He knows how to win. He's got an incredible pedigree. 64 years old. Can he coach? It's up to Eddie to decide. But it's just one of the names that are out there. A guy who loves his alma mater. Always has said he loves his alma. Remember when he was with the T-Birds? Do you remember that at all?
Vaguely.
I mean, he talked about it, and there was always an alum on that team, and so it's where we are, man. It's one of them, and you'll hear a lot more names as we go. I don't think he did anything to hurt himself. His piece about recruiting, he talked about character. It's a guy that I don't think, and if I'm missing something, I'm sure somebody will remind me. Is there anything in Coop's background that makes you question his character?
No.
Right? Talked about recruiting. I don't doubt at all his name would carry a lot of weight in Southern California as far as recruiting, or anywhere else for that matter. So, it was fun. It was fun. This is from Gopher. He says, what about another former New Mexico State coach? Jeff, former UNLV great, coached at MSU and the Maloof Sacramento Kings. Most importantly, was Coach Bill Fuller on hang time. How about Reggie Theus? Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all. But throw out as many names as you want, man. Put them on the list.
It's list season. We are creating our own fan Rolodex of names to call.
So, remember whenever we were talking, and Mike has got to go, you guys both got to go, and good. Remember we were talking however many weeks ago, and we got a couple of people call or send me emails, and who's going to want this job? Who's going to want this train wreck? I said, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your bleeping mind? Like, this job, they're very highly sought after. This job has a little bit of cachet to it, even though the program is where it is. This is a job that's proven you can be successful and you can win. And you're going to get a lot of people, a lot of really qualified big names who want this job. And I asked Eddie that, talk to Lobo fan who thinks, well, who's going to want our job? You're out of your mind. This is a very, very, very desired position.
Yes, and it goes back to thinking, all right, what would the pit be? Like the attendance this season, and people are like, oh, it'd be down to 6,000. It'd be an empty building. The reality is there's programs out there going, y'all get 6,000 people to your game? Like, we're talking D1 programs across the board that would like to have 6,000 people. So the ceiling is high at the University of New Mexico. There's passion. There's people that care. They're invested in the program. You can always find that next generation. I know that comes up in the conversation is, well, how do you get the next generation involved? Well, you know how you do that? You have the dudes right now, the parents, that are writing in going, I'm done, I want to see winning. Well, if you ignite that fire again, guess what? They're taking the kids to the game, and they're off to the races.
Yeah, I just, this whole look at us, woe is us, we got to go to a high school coach thing, no, that's not where this program is. And as much as it's down, and it's been down for better part of a decade, JJ, it has, right? I mean, this Lobo basketball that we remember so wonderfully competing for league championships against San Diego State, battling all. It's been about 7 years, right? Craig's first year, and then after that, it's kind of been an afterthought. And honestly, Boise State's program and Colorado State's program right now are better, and Nevada's is better, and certainly San Diego State's is better. So who is that guy that's going to bring you back to where you expect it to be, you want it to be, and beyond, right? And that's where this is going to be. And I think Eddie's the right guy on this search. Eddie's very well connected.
JT in Francisco.
Eddie's very well thought out, and we're going to get your opinions when we come back at 505-246-0610. Of course, you can watch the show on ProView Networks where Josh and J-Pol are producing. Hey, you trusted your home and your business security to a local company with an armed response, and then they sold out. You got selected, and now your security is on the brink of being bought out by a national corporate giant. That's not what you signed up for. That's not what you want, and that's not what you have to have. Call IPS. International Protective Service is invested in Albuquerque. They're invested in your home, in your business, and your security. They're not for sale. They care about what's going on here. Let the highly trained armed guards or 24-hour patrols of IPS protect what is yours. Look, I've trusted IPS for years. They come by on a daily basis. Addie goes out for a run, and there's the officer out in front, and she waves at him, and she feels better. I do too. My neighbors feel good when they see the IPS cars out in front. You see them all around town. International Protective Service. You got a trip coming up, they'll roll the garbage cans out to the curb and back on garbage day. They'll pick up the newspaper in the mail, give your home that lived-in look. Protect what's important to you. Do not wait until something bad happens. Call IPS. 505-897-2420 is the number. That's 505-897-2420, or visit them at ipsglobal.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With this first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes,
Oh! Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win. And he got it! He scored!
And let's hear what you have to say. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. 888-922-0610. This is a segment that tests young Micah's pop culture knowledge. Time for another edition of Does Micah Know? You had a caller mention Hang Time with Reggie Theus. What was he referring to? You're shaking your head.
Zero idea.
Hang time, man. Saturday morning. High school basketball. Let's go.
Hang Time was part of NBC's awesome mid-90s Saturday AM programming
time.
block that aired after Save the Bell and The New Class, and Reggie Theus, the former UNLV and NBA player and former New Mexico State coach, was the coach. And the heartthrob, and all the ladies loved Reggie Theus. Look it up. Francisco, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Francisco.
Good morning. Yeah, I wanted to comment on Paul Weir, and yeah, he's a good guy. No one's questioning that, and just wasn't the right time for him. But the move had to be made, no doubt. You know, a couple coaches. The coach that I'm most intrigued by, of course, is Frank Martin. That guy, you know, some people don't like his coaching style, but I really do. I think that
I do too.
He's proven it. I mean, two different teams to the Final Four: South Carolina and Kansas State. Come on, those are football schools.
And South Carolina was like a 6th seed, right?
Too much success recently. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Was it Kansas or South Carolina was like a 6th seed when they made that run, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with defense, man. It starts with defense. And Bruce Weber is another interesting guy. He will be available. And he's had success in different places, and he could definitely coach in this league. And Avery Johnson, that's interesting. That's interesting. And Coop is interesting. He should be considered. But I was a little disappointed that he hadn't gotten his degree yet. I'm going to be honest about that. But Frank Martin, man, that's my... And here's the thing. You can afford this guy. What you do is you structure your contract $1 million, then 1.5, and then 2 in the third year. Plus, you give bonuses for, like Alford had, you know, tournament bonuses, wins. Right. We can afford this guy, I'm telling you. We can afford him. You have to take a chance, man. Take a chance because when you're in the third year of a contract and the coach and the pit's half empty, you're losing money anyway. So what you do is you make the investment, you put it out there, you put your, you put it out there, man. And I think that this athletic director, I like him. And I see football on the rise, and that means, football's important, even though people don't think it is. It's very important. Yeah.
No doubt. All right, man. So a couple of things, JJ, on a guy like Frank Martin, and I don't know the terms, okay? So, but I'm going to go back to when Bob Toledo was fired at UCLA and came here to be the offensive coordinator under Rocky Long. Everybody says, how does that happen? And he's making 200-something grand, whatever it is. Well, I'm going to assume there's some sort of a buyout, a payout from South Carolina. We're all talking as if Frank Martin's gone, and I think that's where it's going to be. So if he gets X number of $1 million from his buyout there, it's going to come up to Frank Martin. How much do you need? UNM pays this. Let's call it $800,000 to $1 million. Okay, and then there's incentives. Can he offset whatever it is he wants to make with what he's making in the buyout? It's going to be up to him. You can't overextend yourself. I agree with Francisco to a point where you got to take a shot and go after who you want. But there is a budget on this. It isn't South Carolina's budget or UCLA's budget. And I think any coach who's going to put their name in that hat for this job is going to acknowledge that.
Yeah, there's no way in the first year or two of a contract UNM is giving out that the $1.5 million figure is going to be on that contract.
JT, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hi, JT.
What's happening, my friends?
Lots, man.
I'm not gonna lose you today because I'm off of work enjoying my new granddaughter.
Nice. Congratulations.
And lo and behold, Jeff Siembieda says, I'm going to have Michael Cooper at top of the hour. I said, my day can't get any better. Oh, my God, Jeff. You don't understand what that man means to me.
Tell me.
You do not understand. The days are 8, 9, 10 years old, 11, with my dad, with the 64 Chevy, with all the Make It Happen stickers all over the truck, losing our minds because we got this team, Willie Howard, Mark Felix, Will Smiley, my man, Automatic Johnson, Coop,
Marvin,
the degree thing, I guess if it's a rule or whatever it is, you can't do it. But if they want this team, Michael Cooper knows how to coach, okay? Let me just tell you right now. He will get this team, if he gets this chance, this little crease, this little crack to get this job or whatever, we're going to be buzzing again like the 70s. I promise you that, okay? We will be buzzing within 3 years.
We'd be just driving different vehicles, just with more technology.
And lo and behold, I'm 54, coming up on 54. If Michael Cooper gets a championship and we win a national championship, I promise you, the whole state will be shut down. The whole state for the party. So
yeah, I look for that party. Hopefully we pass COVID.
We got guys that have more degrees than a thermometer that can't relate to basketball players. I'll have to understand if you need the degree. I'll just say, okay, well, that's the rule or whatever. But you got people with more degrees than a thermometer working at Walmart, can't get a job. Okay, so you got to be able to relate to the player today, and this man can relate. So I thank you for everything and the call, and just enjoy the day. I got a new granddaughter. Have
enjoy
a good
it,
day.
man. See you, JT. I mean, so I didn't really think of it in those terms. How many degrees did this current coach have? He had a lot of degrees. They're in 11th place. I'm not sure that one equates to the other. Coop doesn't have a degree. I mean, that's what he's telling you. We got one guy who had a bunch of degrees and it didn't work. I mean, I don't know. We always say you go completely different, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just where it comes down. And is it something the university wants to present? Is it something within the athletic department that they feel is important when your mission still is there for the student athletes? And it's the line you walked between realizing, yes, this is still collegiate athletics, but it's also a business, and we're talking about real things in terms of ticket sales, fan base, money for a coach, all the things that are now happening at the University of New Mexico.
All right, 505-246-0610. Get in now or hold your peace till tomorrow. I want to hear from you on where you are with this Lobo basketball thing.
And with all that is changing, maybe it's time for you to look at yourself and say, what do I need to do to take the next step this year? Are you looking to kickstart your fitness or challenge yourself to get to another level? Well, F45 training is the place for you. It's got me excited again for fitness, and this last year has been a challenge. You're at home, you're trying to work out, but it just does not hit the same. Well, with F45 training, it's a mix of circuit training and high-intensity training in just 45 minutes. I love it. No wasted time. You're going to go in there, you got your plan, you got all the stations set up, and you're good to go. Check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app to take a look at the schedule, and also sign up for your 7-day free trial. So if you're unsure about it, you're like, is this going to be safe? What are the classes going to look like? Download the app, check out the schedule, and get in there to see what these trainers in this gym can do for you. You got to book your class because, yes, they're still managing class sizes, so you're going to feel comfortable and safe as you get in a fantastic workout. They're open 7 days a week to fit your schedule. Yeah, I did a Sunday morning workout, 7:45. I did it. I felt good. Called the Lobo basketball game, and it was a fantastic day. They're located 5920 Holly Northeast, right there, Paseo I-25. Good access from anywhere in town. COVID-safe practices, as I mentioned. So you're going to go in there. I was a little nervous at first, but now I am all in with the setup and the class sizes. Check them out, f45training.com, the F45 app. Look at it, use it, sign up for your 7-day free trial, and you will be hooked. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45 Training.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlings, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Heavyweights high in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Kristen Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball line. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Otto driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Here's Natalia Chavez. Good spin. Takes a.
Here's Ramos. Nice jump stop through the.
Maybe gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a.
Hill, little step, high window. With a...
Got the second.
The middle.
Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window. Finishes.
There's a run coming from
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime. 10.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Ryan says Tim Miles or Grant McCaslin from North Texas. I said, what's the fascination with Miles? Well, he's a 500 Mountain West coach, and he's personable, and okay. I mean, I like nothing against Tim Miles. I just don't get the fascination. He okay. He's a nice guy, he's personable. Okay. Back to it, 505-246-0610. Robert, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care hotline. Hi, Robert.
Good morning, guys. I wanted to get my quick 2 cents in. I think you guys didn't like the idea, but I really like the idea of a Greg Marshall. In my eyes, here the run he had at Wichita State, I would say he was one of the top 10 coaches in the country during this past decade. I mean, you're talking Izzo, Krzyzewski, Calipari, few, that list of guys, and Greg Marshall was right on that list. I mean, he had that Final Four season. He had that other undefeated season where he went to the Sweet 16. I mean, he had that program going.
Oh, that's right.
I know he has some transgressions and stuff, but that's what puts him in our conversation, and I think UNM would that would be an excellent shot, to UNM to try to get that guy.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you, Robert. You and I both like him as a coach, right? I just don't know. You said earlier today it's worth looking into what happened there. I don't know that that's where Eddie's going to go, just because it's so recent. But look, man, Chris Jan's got a second chance. He's doing pretty well down there. I'm not.
And I think you do have to do your due diligence in this regard, but also, it's player issues, and the Chris Jan stuff happened in a bar away from basketball, stuff that he has to own, and so you really have to look at what were the problems. It's more than just maybe a couple players couldn't handle Greg Marshall, because if it was just a couple players that couldn't handle the coach, a place that he had so much success wouldn't move on from him. So you really have to do your due diligence and say, is there something there more with the players? Because, yes, he won a lot of basketball games, but what is the reason he's no longer the coach at Wichita State?
Yep. Ben, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Ben.
Oh, hey, thanks for taking my call. I was
Thanks for
actually
calling.
calling in regards to, I was reading the Journal article yesterday, and it had the list of candidates. And I was wondering if they did any research on Frank Martin. I understand that him and Eddie Nunez work together at Miami. I think Frank Martin makes $3 million a year at South Carolina.
Yeah. Makes a lot of money.
So why would he, like, how would he ever come to New Mexico?
Well, because it looks like it's over there. Like South Carolina's going to go a different way, and so he's going to be.
I think his
he's going to be on the
buyout
market.
$12 million.
Yeah, but not if they fire him. If they fire him, if they fire him, they pay him to walk away.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't think that's going to happen. I like what the gentleman said earlier from North Texas, McCaslin. I mean, you look at what Chris Beard has done at Texas Tech. He came from Arkansas Little Rock.
Yes, he did. For a 10-day stay in Vegas.
Say again?
Yeah, after a 10-day stay in Las Vegas at UNLV.
Yeah. he made a little stopover, but yeah, I guess when you make a run to the Sweet 16 with a team like Arkansas Little Rock, you prove that you can coach. So, well, thanks for taking my call.
All right, Ben, I appreciate that. Here's the deal on Frank Martin. Nobody's saying let's go buy him out.
No.
Right? There's a lot of heat there, and I thought I saw a report the other day where he was out, or at least going to be out. And here's a story that says, "Why is the South Carolina coach bald?" That's good. This would only
Fair
be
question, because it is a little bit shocking when you look at Frank Martin, and all of a sudden you're like, "Whoa, it looks like Jeff Siembieda."
Yeah, I love that actually.
So he's even higher on your list now.
Yeah, I think this would be he's on the market. Eddie played for him in high school. This wouldn't be a buyout, and his base salary is $2.9 million. So whatever the buyout would be, you would think. Look, anybody who's interested in this job is going to know the salary. This job's not paying $1.5 million. This job's going to be lucky if it gets to $1 million. It's probably going to be about $800,000, and that's it. Right, and you can't jeopardize what you're doing. I agree. You could take a big swing. You could take a big swing for in your budget. But look, all these thoughts are good. You're not paying the buyout on Frank Martin.
No. Yeah, when we're talking about Frank Martin or an Archie Miller, it's in the space of if their time is up at their previous university, and if they're hungry to get right back in, an opportunity like the University of New Mexico is perfect for one of those guys. Yes, they might be like, oh, can I bounce to another power program? However, are they going to be high on those lists of the other openings right off the bat? And so when we're talking about guys making a lot more money somewhere else, it's a fact, hey, they want to get back into it. They got that buyout money. As you just said, they understand what this job will pay to keep on moving forward in their career.
Yeah. All right. Any other names you want to throw at me? Did I give you we didn't talk Mike Miller? I mean, they're just going to keep coming. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you what I like. I love I do. I like the Frank Martin. McCaskey's interesting to me. Cody Toppert interests me. Just his pedigree is he hasn't been a head coach of a college program, but he's been a head coach of a D League. He's been an assistant in the NBA. He's a French chair assistant at Memphis. He recruits, he develops, and totally, this place is in his DNA. That interests me. Mike Brown is one. Nobody's talked about Mike Brown. Does that do anything? Is that just a name I'm tugging out of my lower crevice, or is that a name that interests you at all?
It's not a name that you're just tugging out of nowhere. I don't know how excited Lobo fans would get about that, just given the uneasy relationship a lot of them have had with Elijah Brown and just the way they viewed the player in that time period.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay. That's interesting. All right. You got a game today, JJ. What do you got today?
We got a game.
You got a game today. By the way, Babalu stole the opening drive. He's calling a segment over on News Radio the opening bell. All right. That's what somebody said. All right, tell me about the Lady Lobos of Utah State today here at 2 o'clock on the Sports Animal.
2 minutes. Running it back. You want to go into the Colorado State series as confident as you can be. This is the series to do it against the last place team in the Mountain West Conference. Elise Hurst back in the lineup, cleared COVID protocols. Good to see. Played 23 minutes. Didn't look like she missed a beat. Energy and effort you expect from the junior. How about Latacia Duff? 28 points in 23 minutes. Her last 3 games, she's averaging 26.5 points. She's just an unbelievable player. One of the most efficient scoring lines you're going to see in the game of college basketball. So I'd look for more of the same. Bring the energy, the focus early, take control of the game, and then use that second half to work on some things, get the bench involved, and then look at that matchup against the best team in the conference, Colorado State.
Yeah, and they've got opportunities. So is you were telling me the other day Utah State's really not very good, and obviously, I mean, they're struggling. This is one of those where you can't drop the back end of these back-to-backs. You got work to do. Get it done today.
Yes, the Air Force, their record is bad, but they're a different team than Utah State. Utah State's just not very good. First-year head coach, a lot of challenges. Lobos need to handle their business this afternoon and then focus on Colorado State.
All right. Thanks to Michael Cooper, former Lobo and Laker great, as well as Danny Gonzalez, the Lobo head football coach. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowherds after that. 4 o'clock, Trulio and Carlisle with the Sports Bar, more local talk. You can watch the show on ProView Networks at 3 o'clock, Comcast Channel 26. Thanks to Josh and Jay Pole. Micah, great work. JJ, have a great call today.
Have a day, y'all.
Don't forget JJ, Lady Lobo basketball, 2 o'clock. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We will smell you tomorrow.
Some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. And it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles, look out! Chavez up the sideline, stays in bounds, touchdown, Volcanovic!
That replay,
I got you.
Measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
Run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
Throw it. Okay, here comes the rush. Step it up. Javier now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Gaye. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and.
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. all the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible